Where am I? There's so much. I've set up so much around my desk. I have to look all around the room now. Hey, okay, guy. I got distracted. Hello. Hi. Hi. I hope you can't hear, like, my microphone is shaking because I completely rearranged my desk setup. And right now, I couldn't figure out where to put my microphone. So I've attached the microphone stand to my bed frame, which I'm not sure is a very good idea. But, you know, sometimes things must happen. Or not. Maybe they don't have to happen. Regardless. Hi Bob, hi Hanbin, hi Bingo, hi Breezy. Chinami, I need you to wish me luck. I'm about to gamble competitively. Fail! Fumble! Fumble! Hi Nasios, hi Kakam, hi Barbie, hi Nasama. My laptop will not survive the stream. It's fine, I'm very nervous about my setup right now. You know, you ever move all your tech and whatnot, and it's like what if I arranged it wrong and I died? Because honestly, my cable management is terrible. I look down and it's kind of a vague tangle of wires that all look identical. Real problem. Hi Sarat, thank you Sarat. Hi Haiku, hi Miktugu. Cause thank you Vanis, hi. I did a lot of labor today. I moved so many things. I wrangled dogs. I'm taking care of more dogs now. Did you know that? I didn't know that. You know, my dad has home improvement guys over or whatever, so he tells me, you know, Chimi, sit on the couch and watch them. Make sure they don't steal anything or whatever. And so I sit on there, and then my mom comes by and drops off her dogs and is like, yeah, they're gonna be staying here for a while. Like, what? Eh? That doesn't impact me too negatively, though. Now there's just more dogs, I guess. Thank you, Sorat! Thank you. Sorry. I'm saying way too much in the first few. It has been 3 minutes since I started streaming. I'm already using up all my material, aren't I? I don't plan on going that long in the first place, though. I stole a bunch of tech from the basement that was unused. I guess it's not stealing if it wasn't used, but I had to lug up a ton of stuff to my room, and honestly I'm a little worried about the weight on my dresser, but I've got a very picturesque setup right now. You're in labor? No wonder you hate it. Shut up! Hi Chikan. Hi Meta. Hi Adrian, thank you Adrian. But I smell like sweat. I reek right now. And I do not feel good about it. My arms hurt so bad. And then, you know, it's like, I ordered wires ahead of time. I'll be all prepared for this. I get the wires out, open the package, whatever. Rather than... I need like a female adapter. And I accidentally ordered a male adapter. Then, you know, just and I'm thinking like, oh, I can just unplug the cord, whatever. Cord is built in. Why? A female adapter? I think that's what they... I think that's just a sociopathic woman. I should. I know. Bad joke. Man, built-in cords like that suck on devices where they're usually removable, like monitors. Yeah, I mean, you can expect it on a lot of things, like older consoles, for example. Used to be really devastating when you cut off when you cut the wires on a, I don't know, Nintendo 64. I'm going off the top of my head. Or like the controllers, on those ones with the built-in controllers, you know. Real specific here. Good going. Can't say teams, but hope you have a great Stwam. Thank you. Thank you for that, so rat, from the bottom of my heart. I will keep your words in mind forever. For the rest of my life. Hi, Fred. Great to see you again. I'll be back to regular streaming in time. I've talked about it before. I think, by February, it'll be back to my, like, every single weekday, unless I have an incident, you know? Achiever cheers, teams. You know, I was thinking about Buc-ee's recently, the gas station. Is Buc-ee's a beaver? Is his name Buc-ee's? Or is it Buck? Is it something like Chuck E. Cheese, where his name's not actually Chucky, but rather Chuck E. Cheese? What's his name? Tell me. I can't find him. What's the beaver's name? Tragedy. What is Buck? Well, I think it's a male deer. Or something like that. Sneed, formerly Chucks. Formerly Bucks, maybe? I feel like Buck is kind of a bad name in general. I feel bad for all the sad people named Buck or Bucky. I'm Mela Mamoduro. Buck is used for male horned animals? What about moose? Is moose male name? It's called a bull. I think. Okay, we're getting... Okay, this is... I'm getting a concerning amount of people encouraging you to name your baby boy Moose. Baby names, Moose. Do it, yeah, I'll rename my son that I have a son, yes, and his name will now be Moose. What if you name multiple sons Moose? What do you call? How do you refer to them as a group? A group of moose. It's just a herd. That's boring. They don't have something cool like Parliament or Murder or something? Those are both birds, aren't they? Hi, Glaive. Hi, Zazak. Rename at least 2 of your many sons. Yes, my many sons that I have. You know, are you guys like my children? That is a weird and gross thing to say. I wonder. your beautiful son with every disease? Who's the father? Hey Mom, hope you're feeling better. You know what? I think I'm graduating after all. I think yeah, no. I'd rather not be your child if you're also like my sister. What type of family tree would it take for that to happen? Oh, I thought about it. I don't want to think about it anymore. I thought about it. I don't want to think about the family. Wait, you're graduating? No, I'm not. We do a little bit of trolling, perhaps. It's a mass virgin birth incident, and not one of them is the second coming of Christ. Stupid. Well, maybe they will be. Maybe we just haven't found out yet, but... You know, you have a mass virgin birth. You'd expect all of those kids to be Christ or something. It's like a gacha, you need to keep rolling until you get one. Ugh. Would spending... If the second coming of Christ will be like a gacha, do you think spending money would be something like a test tube baby Christ? Like CRISPR or whatever? Okay, but turning water to wine is a sick power. Why did... He could walk on water and he could turn water into wine. Why didn't he just... Why didn't he walk on like the ocean and turn it into wine? I think that would be really fun. I'm not a theologian, but I think it's sacrilegious to genetically engineer Jesus. Okay, it would make a... Genetically engineered Jesus would make for a very good, like, video game lore, though, I feel. You know, a really dark, edgy video game with blood or whatever and religious themes. I feel like Doom could do genetically engineered Jesus or something. Yeah, it would turn red like an Evangelion. That's what happens in Evangelion. I never watched the end of Evangelion. Evangelion? Regardless, I watched the show, and then I didn't watch the end. The long movie. I'm a fraud. Hi, Sipper. But I'm so tired. I have handled so many bottles of Pepsi today. It is sad, frankly, but also now I really want Pepsi. And I know, you know, I throw away all my bottles of Pepsi. You would think I shouldn't go get another bottle of Pepsi because then I'd be in the same problem I was in before, but now I really want some. You know, like stealth advertising that they do in shows and stuff like that? I think Netflix does a lot of it, but I think about that a lot. Do you think people in landfills get stealth advertising when they throw away food wrappers, or is it like the opposite of making them want to? If your child had one power of Christ, what would you hope for? You know how Jesus cursed a tree to never bear fruit again? I assume that's something like a power to make people infertile. if I could have a kid with a Jesus Christ power, I would want them to have the ability to make people infertile. I just think it would be funny. Hi, Forrest. I don't know, think about it, you know, your kid gets bullied in high school or whatever. You know, they'll get their karma when the time comes. To be advocating for eugenics to infertility, right? I was not advocating for eugenics in the slightest. I was advocating for a little bit of trolling. But anyway, I think an infertility rate is just something like... That's just radiation, isn't it? Sorry, I'm being weird. Now I'm a little lightheaded from all the labor I did today. It was more than I usually do. I'm sweaty. Cancer memes? I don't think Jesus had the power to give people cancer, but I think that would also be a good power to give your kid. You know? I think it would be awesome. You know, imagine you're getting picked on, or like some guy cuts you in line. Cuts you off in line, cuts you off in traffic, like puts onions in your McDonald's order. Give him cancer. I guess they wouldn't learn their lesson though, because they wouldn't know. How do you... I mean, you could probably like radiation burn your signature into their side, but at that point, I think you might get arrested. So what's the balance there? The onions are good. I've never had an onion. I think about them sometimes, but I don't know what they're like. They're not allowed in the house. Pretty sure he's supposed to have the power to do anything, you know, the God thing. Well, I mean, Jesus is also human, is he not? I think also, is Jesus the most powerful person alive besides God? Is power scaling Jesus a good pastime? Jesus is more powerful than Goku? Do you think Goku and Jesus would be friends? I feel like Goku is pure of heart and Jesus would respect that. I don't know. Goku would try to fight him? I mean, isn't that Goku's whole thing? I heard your cancer is pretty strong. Let me fight it. Dr. Goku. I've never watched Dragon Ball. I've only caught brief episodes of it. Like, sometimes people put on cable or something when I'm visiting relatives, and it's always really strange. You know, you never catch the characterization, and mostly you just catch, like, I'm powering up now. And then they, like, fly around and punch each other into rocks. I feel like that's a lot of the show, but I don't know. I'm not dissing Dragon Ball. There's gotta be a reason so many people like it, you know? Just like, I hated on One Piece a lot last stream, but I'll be honest, I do think it's gotta have a good plot or something. Just, you know, pacing or something. Or something. I think in most versions of Christianity, Jesus is just straight up God. Well, that's what's not a pain with all the different versions of Christianity, you know? But... the other half is people standing in the background doing a pose. I don't know, I saw this one censored scene or... like a guy transforms into hot woman and then turns to the old man and goes like, "You want papa papa?" And then they make some weird sounds. It's been a long time since I saw that though. I know about that though because there's also similar censorship in a lot of Dragon Quest. Because for whatever reason, Dragon Quest likes making lots and lots of references to Pafu parlors or whatever. In Dragon Quest Builders, it's very awkwardly translated to Puff Puff Parlor. And the characters mentioned it kind of loosely, so I thought like, oh, I guess it's some kind of smoking parlor? Hookah place? I don't know. No, Pafu refers to chest. Hi, Uber. People always say Dragon Ball is top tier, but whenever you're not watching them powering up for 20 minutes is Goten and Trunks peeing for like half a minute until a dinosaur shows up. I used to sit at a lunch table in high school with a bunch of Dragon Ball fans. And honestly, Dragon Ball fans have such low standards. It's like perfectly made for selling merchandise. It's just like, oh my god, Goku has pink hair now. Yeah! Crazy. This is amazing. A chest parlor? No, boobs. Boobs. Chest. Bosom. I guess, you know, Dragon Ball's always something along those lines, but there are only so many times you can hear, like, did you know that Goku is called Son Goku because it's based on Journey to the West? Like, I know what Journey to the West is, and I know it better than you because my dad makes me learn about Chinese literature sometimes. I know more about it than you. You don't even know who Son Goku is. Whatever. It was... sometimes, you know, you have to overhear people. And it was miserable when the Dragon Quest hero came out in Smash. That was pretty late into high school for me, but I don't know when it happened. Regardless, it was a very miserable experience. Nobody knows what Dragon Quest is. They know what Dragon Ball is. Dragon Ball should have ended after Piccolo was defeated. I don't know how people take names like that seriously. Isn't a Piccolo like a tiny flute? It is a tiny flute. Why did they name him after that? I don't know. Played Chrono Trigger? I played it with my dad when I was really young. It's kind of a fever dream nowadays, but I have plans. I'm gonna be a bit more picky with my taste from now on, but I have fun plans for retro games. You know? I think it's probably going to be more modern than retro. Like I'm not gonna be doing much NES, but I might do more 3D stuff. I've been thinking about the Wii recently. Are you ever gonna finish Doki? Yeah, probably when I get back to gaming. When was the last time I played a game on stream anyway? I'm gonna have to touch on Doki just for the sake of, you know, there's so much. There's so... I don't want to be like, oh, playing a game for a few hours a day is the hardest thing you could do. But, you know, figuring out what games you're gonna play is such a nightmare. What games are on the agenda anyway? Why did I blink? Ah! I know the ones I know the PC games I have in mind. Cause I have Strong Mad School Game for Awesome People, the full series, and I have, you know, I have No Mouth and I Cannot Scream, and I have System Shock and all those fun things. I love them. I watched my dad play a bit of System Shock, but I don't know that much about it. My dad really liked it, which makes it kind of a toss-up for me. But well, I figure it out when you can just make a poll and let the viewer monkeys decide. Because sometimes, in integrity or something, yeah. You know? I don't know. Really? Oh, also Corpse Party. I really like Corpse Party, to be honest. Is that everyone likes Corpse Party, I think. Last games you played were either .flow or VR chat, if you consider that a game. Pretty boring. That's what you can play as Wii Sports was a good time. VR chat is very fun, but I feel like it's very lazy content, you know? The novelty of being in 3D adds a lot. And then there's, like chatting is a lot harder in VR chat. What is Corpse Party? You know what Corpse Party is? It's only a very, very fun horror RPG. It's hard to explain, but I'll be playing it in time, you know? Whatever those. Shut up! People take that line because it's easy to screenshot, but honestly, it's not as bad as the P subplot. You know, a guy, his little sister gets brought in. She keeps going like, "Oni-chan, I need to find a bathroom." And then she finds a bathroom and there's like blood in it, and she's like, "No, I can't go here." And that is half her character. It's miserable. The plot half the game happens because that girl refuses to just use a bucket. It's so annoying. Yeah, I don't know what to say. It's just, it's a real pain. Based in bucket pilled. Ew. Ew. Could you? Could you be less gross? Wait, does she just spend the entire game needing to pee? Eventually she does pee, I guess. I think it depends on the ending. Regardless. Ew. This is really hard to explain. I swear it's a good game. I swear. This one's a controversial take. But honestly, I liked Corpse Party too. People complain about it a lot because honestly it looks kind of like an early 3DS game and it controls poorly and ends on a cliffhanger. But honestly, I liked the hospital theming. Hi, Yellow Sipper. Yo, are we talking about piss? How did you find me? How did you find me? There's also an anime, isn't there? Would you feel bad for me if I told you I watched the anime when it came out and I was very young? I don't know. So, Chimi, tell us you watched Nimi Nightmare's debut, right? What did you think? Well, sure is Nimi, you know? What more is there to say? Like, yeah, that's the woman I know. I don't like the model very much. It's got kind of weird chibi proportions, but I am glad that she has a nice chest. I was worried that she would go back to flat-chested, but I can't see her as flat-chested anymore. Well, it's just the chibi model? Yeah, I know. The full one will arrive in some time. I think she mentioned it on Twitter, like it'd be made by someone very special. I don't know who that would be. Honestly, if I'm really hoping, I hope it's Nami. But I don't know. That's... You know, that's kind of more of a distant dream. That would be cool. Not a lot of people know this. I've talked about it before, but Nami actually has made a VTuber model. See, it was this cute dog scientist VTuber that kind of disappeared off the face of the earth after a few streams. I'll put her on screen. Give me a moment. This is Dr. Wamuko. I think it's a real shame that it disappeared, at least. Look at that. Such is the fate of most VTubers, though. You know, every time, if you ever look at a VTuber for their model, what happens every time is always going to be something along the lines of they stream 5 times and then never come back. So never get into a VTuber just for their model. 2 mouths? The goggles are... they're functionally eyes. It's like she's got 2 faces. See? I've got several VTubers that I followed months ago and then they never streamed again. I follow her a lot less closely nowadays, but I used to keep a very close track on Funamushi, aka the creator of Wada no Hara and the Great Blue Sea. And she made a lot of VTubers, most of which debuted and never returned, or never debuted, or made an account and then deleted it and stopped existing online, or then there was the big controversy she had where it turned out that she accepted a lot of money for commissions that she did not fulfill. Yeah. Was she the one that made that free model as well? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think she made any free models. Mom scamming is awful. Yeah, she's... I've had a hard time enjoying her for a long time. Because she has a strong tendency to postpone all of her interesting projects to draw more, yaoi, let's call it. Very, very, messed up yaoi. But she's on a very clear mental spiral that's very sad. You know, she just banned every single Hispanic country from accessing her website. Every single one. And it's not clear why. And the thing is, she's got a lot of fans in Hispanic countries. She did this like a decade ago too, where she banned all of Korea from accessing her site after she used the rising sun flag on a piece of art. Paradox. But you know, she bans all of every Hispanic country from accessing her site, and then goes on a really long like tirade on Blue Sky, where she just keeps on talking about how awful everyone is, and you know how much she wants to spite them and laugh at them. It was very strange. I feel bad for her. Oh, she uses Blue Sky? I think it's more because nobody's really tracking her Blue Sky very closely. She's got a Twitter that she mostly uses for art, and then she, you know, goes on her rants on Blue Sky. Hi, HVI Talib. Hello from Faroe Islands. What are the Faroe Islands? I think that was something in Wind Waker. Denmark. I don't even know where Denmark is. It's the opposite of the domesticated islands. I don't know how feral an island can be. I feel like the default is feral. I don't know of anyone who uses Blue Sky. It's mostly artists. Most of the people that took off to Blue Sky, you know, didn't return. Most VTubers I don't see ever exclusively go into Blue Sky. It looked a little interesting because, to be honest, Twitter has a really bad bot problem. Horrible. And it's a very rough functioning site as well. Feels like every other day it stops loading. For me at least. But you know, that's where everyone is, still. As long as HoloLive is there, I have no intention of leaving. You know? I hope you didn't make a blue sky, otherwise you were not heckin' based and red-pilled. Do you think I care about being based and red-pilled in your eyes? I mean, I feel sad when people leave, I guess, but I don't really care if I don't have the right opinion on something. People can disagree. What do you mean you don't like the porn bots? I know, crazy concept. I have to block so many bots in my followers because I hate dead followers. You know? Hi Eric, hi Anasis. Hello virtual YouTuber known as Super Chitami. Am I a virtual YouTuber? I'm a VTuber definitely, but I don't use YouTube really yet. But bots or NPCs, choose your poison? Well, I mean, boring people aren't selling my data to companies, you know? I get, you know, anywhere you go on the internet, your data's getting sold, whatever. Can I limit it at least a little? Just the tiniest fraction. The new meta is leaving for the Chinese TikTok anyway. T-Pal debut one? T-Pals are very cute. What was the name of the, like, Hongshu something? Don't know. Are you a virtual Twitcher? I think the term a lot of people use when they are set on not being referred to as a VTuber is V-streamer. And that one sounds really generic and bad. Sounds like something a company somewhere made up to present in a board meeting, you know? Xiao Hongshi. I don't know if I got that right. At least it's not liver. You guys wouldn't like me if I was a V-liver? Tragic. V-tweaker? What is that? What does the tweaker even refer to? V-content creator. I end up saying content creator a good amount myself. Just, like, it slips out and all that. But, honestly, I think it's a pretty sad term. I guess when you do a lot of different things, content creation is the one thing you can point to. But you know, there's things like vloggers. They can say something. ASM artists, they can say something. Art-focused people, you know, artists, singers, musicians, blah 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 blah. Content creator. It's the same kind of annoying that influencer has. People are always dunking on influencers, but I think the main thing I dislike about them is how self-centered the name sounds. Like, yeah, I influence people. Surprised you didn't ask if we would eat your liver? Well, would you? Now that you mention it, would you? Agreed, I create more content in my kitchen and toilet than I do on YouTube. Ugh. Ugh. I don't like calling myself a content creator. Because, what kind of content am I creating here? Is this real quality content where I just talk, where I talk at people for a bit about absolutely nothing? Don't you count as a virtual influencer? Probably. I wouldn't. Influencer implies that my main thing is influencing people somehow. And that's weird. That's not something I do. No, we do not eat the oshi meat. Boo! Boo! You should start a cult instead. I've researched this. I don't plan on it. But I know a lot about how cults function. I did a lot of research on it. Very interestingly, a lot of the more severe cults, like the real brainwashy ones that usually end in a mass suicide, use the same tactics the military does in boot camp. Isn't that neat? Hi, Nate. Basically, what cults do, like particularly isolated cults, you know, like they've already kind of hooked you, they move you out to a remote farm where we can live our dream society, whatever. You put them through hard labor. You take away their support systems. You know, put them in an unfamiliar situation. You make other people kind of cast doubt on them. Blah, 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 blah. You know, work them until they break down from stress, and then you go to them and tell them, you know, this is a good thing. You know, this is a religious realization here. You're having a breakthrough. Which, honestly, it's very eerily similar to boot camp. Main difference being that if you have a huge breakdown in boot camp, you just get bitched. Teamy, you're describing real life with school and work. It's a lot more intentional than that, but you are kind of... I would not call you, like, you're a brainwashed wagey. But, you know, you are very influenced into participating in society, you know, all that. You are brought up like this, you know? You don't have an opt-out. And, you know, society's gotta function like that, but... yeah. So, cults make you strong-willed warriors. Got it. Joining a cult now. No. No. Maybe the military does, because they root out the people that aren't strong enough. But cults basically put you in a state of perpetual vulnerability. That's... you know, people that are never secure or strong-willed make for the best cult followers. Cults systematically cut you off from your family/friends. Not sure the military does. Cults do a lot more grooming preemptively, you know? I'm saying the isolationist cults have a very similar setup to boot camps. Boot camps really freak you out, and, you know, the military in general, you know, they take you away from your life. You're put in an unfamiliar environment, blah, blah, blah. You get yelled at a ton. You have to do all sorts of hard labor, miserable things. You pass that, boom, more hard labor. You're stationed in some foreign country. Still, your family isn't there, your friends aren't there. You know? It's not really a cult, but I genuinely do believe that cults were influenced by how boot camps work. So emotionally deprived men, emotionally deprived women, people that have experienced a great loss recently, people that have poor relationships with family, with peers, people that struggle with addiction, people in living difficult lives, you know? My cult wasn't one of the cool brainwashing ones. We just lived independently and talked about Jesus. I mean, obviously it's gonna vary. The main difference between a cult and a religion is one, scale, two, how they behave. In general, a religion is positive in some way. That's why, you know, like, Scientology, massive thing, we still call it a cult because it's pretty messed up in there. Fun fact, in the book version Silence of the Lambs, it's fava beans and amarone that human liver is paired with, not fava beans and Quanti. Like in the movie, you don't pair something fatty like liver with something sweet like Quanti, but Hollywood decided we're too stupid to know what amarone is. I don't even know what Quanti is. So, you know, I don't even know what fava beans are. But you know, Chianti. I still don't know what it is. If I remember correctly, a few of the big cults in the 1980s and 90s were set up by people from the American intelligence agency, so there's probably some overlap. I don't really know about the American government's influence in cults. I know there's, you know, Jonestown or whatever. That, specifically Jonestown happened because of relations with the American government. The American government didn't like what they were doing, so they fled to Africa and slowly got more paranoid. And then eventually government acted on it, and then they had a horrible, horrible mass suicide. You know? There are some interesting things, like Canada has official definitions and kind of guides on identifying cults and their dangerous behavior. Specifically, they focus on more dangerous cults, of course. They don't focus on unconventional beliefs. It's more along the lines of, like, here are examples of how cults can escalate to terrible situations. The final step is they make you throw away Pepsi bottles and look after dogs. Society is a cult. Society demands that I live in a clean room and contribute to my family. It's so hard. It was South America that Jonestown was in, but yeah, same difference. Ah! I knew it was an A, though. Am I getting too controversial? When I'm fatigued enough, I start like, oh, here is my in-depth analysis on the sociology. I don't know, how people work, how institutions work. I meant to. CIA bad and cults interesting are pretty uncontroversial topics. Are they really? I don't know. I don't know if I'm being watched. Oh, you know. No, your takes have been ice cold, no offense, of course. Sad. If they get any more serious than this, you know, they start getting genuinely divisive, you know. I don't really like to think about that kind of stuff anyway, though. We live in a social... Cults bad is a no-brainer. It's more about how interesting they are, right? It's so... Cults on a basic level are really, really easy to understand. And theoretically easy to create. The only matter is, you know, the leader, and it's gotta have some kind of hook, right? The vast majority of successful cults have stemmed off from Christianity because it's already very well established, you know? Also, most cults are from, like, 20th century. In the 21st century, right? I think so. A lot of people joke about, like, forming cults around VTubers or whatnot. I genuinely am not sure that's possible. There's a cult of personality, but those are generally politically and religiously motivated, and those are very, very unethical. That's a no-brainer, but I feel like most VTubers are not willing to go to the lengths that most people do. We've been working on a tulpa in Chitimate Labs. What do you mean working on a tulpa? Are you sewing it into people? How would a Chuva be able to realistically build a cult? Cults, I think, by default have to be focused on some sort of ideology, whether that be like political, behavioral, social, religious, blah blah blah. I don't think any... I'd be very impressed if a VTuber came up with their own religion. I'd be very fascinated. But yeah, I don't think that's happening. So it'd probably be a political VTuber or something like that. Or not. I don't mean to be rude. I feel like a lot of political VTubers have very unfaithful audiences. But you know, you think about stuff like InfoWars. Whatever your opinion on Alex Jones is, he was a real grifter. Like, even if he said something good, he always ended it with, "You can buy my supplements." You know? The supplements will help protect you from 5G or whatever. Communal living is also a pretty big cult hallmark. Doubt a Chuba would be able to bring people together like that. That's more of an escalation. A lot of cults don't really follow the communal living. They're kind of separated, but you know. It depends. Some, it's more of a church. I honestly always saw his thing as a comedy show / pure entertainment. Doesn't change the fact that people took him seriously and a lot of people bought his garbage supplements. Those things... Have you seen some of them? Real nasty stuff. Like, yeah, sure, your bone broth smoothie is probably the best thing ever. Ugh. He was proven right on a bunch of things. There was the one very big thing that happened in recent years that will forever reflect on him. Bone broth is actually delicious if you like soup anyway. It's not about bone, it's not bone broth, it's not soup. It is like, it was a horrible protein shake sort of thing. I think it was called like caveman something. It was horrible. I don't know if Tsunami could run a commune, but she could probably convince most of us that God told her to bang our wives. No, I don't need a harem. I'm not the NTR type. Yeah, I talked about that last stream. Like, how do I say it? I feel like harems are sad. To be fair, have you seen the gamer subs lineup? Gamer subs does look pretty disgusting. But also they're not telling you that gamer subs will protect you from fluoride in the water. Well, I guess gamer subs would probably prevent any sort of benefits fluoride would provide to your teeth. can be Netorase instead, that's a little less bad. I've seen Netorase, what is it? Ah. Enjoyed NTR. Nah, I'm not into any of that. Gamer subs would definitely prevent you from catching an STD. I think gamer subs could also prevent pregnancy as well. Was it gamer subs that had lead in it? I think it might have been G Fuel. They had lead in it, and everyone starts saying like actually it's a negligible amount of lead. It would only be important if you drank a ton of it while pregnant. It's like, how'd lead get it? How did they get lead in G Fuel? Are you in any cults, Jamie? Probably not, but if I was, I'm not sure I would be able to identify it as a cult. WTF? G Fuel had lead? G Fuel has lead in it. Don't drink G Fuel. Pro tip. Excuse me, are we drinking lead? I'm talking about how G Fuel has lead in it. And also, I think other things I forgot already. Oh yeah, I'm not in a cult. Probably. I was not raised religious. I've got a good amount of interest in that sort of stuff, but I don't think I could genuinely believe or devote myself to it the same way that like actual devotees do. Lunchables had lead. Yeah, and that's pretty bad too, honestly. Are we in a stinky garbage room anymore? My room does not stink. I never bring food into here. It is entirely plastic waste. It smells fine. Stanley thermos have lead on them, but it's on the outside only. They've put lead paint on it? What about that one Kiki on the closet? I threw it away months ago! I had it for fun, okay? God forbid a woman have fun. Best advice I can give is to read the Bible and decide for yourself. I've skimmed through it. I've read it. I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of it. I think my main issue with that sort of stuff is there is a lot of good stuff in the Bible. I feel like a lot of people take it. They kind of take strange messages from it. The way I see it, the Bible is more of a guide on how to be good. Basic moral lessons. Not that, like, God doesn't exist or all that, but, you know, teachings. You know? I don't really get this stuff where Christians are mean to you for being an atheist. Because that happened to me a lot growing up. You know, I've had, like, from ages, you know, children to teens, they start, you know, preaching to me, and I say, like, oh, I don't really know about that stuff, I'm not Christian, and they start saying, like, if you don't believe in God, you believe in the devil. So yeah, I'm 10. Christian here, that's not how it works. A lot of Christians seem to be more focused on others rather than their own, following their own teachings, you know? Like, yeah, it's in the Bible to spread the gospel and all that. There's also a certain amount of consideration you should have for others. My great-grandpa was not a Christian, but my great-grandma got roped into doing a funeral at an evangelist church. Evangelical, whatever. And they spent more time trying to convert people than they did talking about my great-grandpa. And it's just like... Really? Really? It was sad. It was a solid few hours of a guy preaching. And then I ate like 50 muffins because they had a ton of pastries on the table. It was great. Not the part where my great-grandpa died. My great-grandpa was a very nice man. But... yeah. It's sad. Obviously there's, you know, good believers, bad believers in every religion. I just think it's sad that there's so many bad people in the world. So many people that don't know how to, you know, be considerate. That's why I tell people to start with the Bible and not any specific church. Someone get a little goofy with it. From what I can tell, the point of a church is to foster community. When you go to church, it is, of course, for religion, but at the same time, it is primarily for the sake of, you know, connecting with people. But, you know, I respect people like Sister Abigail, you know, Minna Vanilla. People who can respect others and respectfully follow the teachings they believe in, you know? People like that make me, you know, want to be Christian. Minna Vanilla is so based. She's a really fascinating woman. I don't understand her in the slightest, to be honest. It's like, oh, she's such a nice lady, and, you know, she enjoys her life, and she's so hardworking, and all these things. And she's really, really built different. Senna is also a Christuber, too, I think. Senna is religious. She's Christian, but, I won't say she doesn't follow the teachings, of course. It's more, that's not really so much what her content is about. Minna, you know, it's a big part of her life. Senna is more traditional in other ways, I would say. I know another Christian VTuber who used a Sonic meme during her own pregnancy announcement. Really? Does being a Christian woman, like, unlock the secret to having a happy marriage or something? That's probably not true. My relatives are Christian and they've had a lot of divorces. Does June count? I think June definitely counts. He's done streams on the Bible and stuff like that. He's a June is a very impressive person in a different way. Hi, dog. There are really no one set of Christian teachings or beliefs. At the bare minimum, I feel like everyone... It's kind of surprising how much people pick and choose with the Bible. Because there's a lot of really, really nice messages in there. There's some less nice messages in there. But I think ultimately all of them can be interpreted in a way that applies to your life. You know how, like, businessmen will read stuff like The Art of War even though it makes no sense when you don't do combat? Something like that, you know? Correlation does not equal causation. It's more that religious tend to come from unbroken homes their parents raised them well. I don't think that's true at all, because there's a lot of people that got scorned by religious parents. I think easily, like, 70% of all atheists are people that were seriously hurt by Christians in their life. You know? I think in general it depends on the people. I meant the people who stay. Definitely. The Art of War told me to commit tax fraud. The Art of War told me to store my assets in an offshore bank account. Yeah, I got bullied in Catholic school and it led me to be an edgy atheist for a bit. I hear a lot about Catholic schools and I want to know what bullying in Catholic school is like. Yeah, like, I heard she wasn't godly enough. I heard she has forsaken the Lord or something. I don't know. A lot of Catholic school students, for some reason, end up doing drugs or doing insane stuff. I mean, things like religion, I won't say they're wrong. They have a much different place in society today as they did like a couple hundred years ago. You know, when that sort of stuff was written, all of the standards were completely different. Life was completely different. Life was a lot simpler. You don't have like every little sad thing blasted into your head 24/7. You don't have to deal with like a million rude people forever. They didn't have phones or the internet or trucks or hamburgers. Like, what is the moral implication of eating a hamburger? You go to McDonald's or whatever, you know, you're supporting whatever the CEO tries to fund. You're supporting like bad minimum wage paychecks. You're supporting like the cruelty that cows go through or whatever. How do you get into heaven? It's so complicated, you know, the world is infinitely more complicated. I crush McDonald's and I know I'm better than most chowders. I can't say I'm better than most chowders, honestly. I don't really think I'm a bad person. I don't think I'm a good person. I'm very stunted. That's why I just rustle cattle and make my own ground beef. Do you make your own bread as well? And cheese? When Moses got the 10 Commandments, could anyone have really anticipated the advent and consequences of the sad girl? I did. Oftentimes, I think about in the past, like, you know, fan art of Jesus or whatever. I think about that sort of stuff a lot because it's like something the masses could be passionate about. Something that had a very wide reach, that was compelling, that, you know, taught people to be better. All that sort of stuff. It doesn't really function the same way nowadays as it could back then. You think Jesus on the cross was contemplating Sarah's Fauna's graduation? The second coming of Fauna? Is that blasphemous? Is that wrong to say? I don't know. There's complicated things. I know Minna particular doesn't like when people use the Lord's name in vain around her. And that's very I do that a lot. So I haven't talked to her so much anymore because it's a little... I feel bad for her whenever I slip up. I feel like I just cursed in front of a toddler, you know? Not that she's a toddler, but you know. Talk to your internet friend, student. No! I'd rather sit in bed. I don't say slurs! Stop making jokes about that, please. And I mean this seriously. There's a reason I don't like swearing very much in the first place. Dude, when I type a message and the streamer doesn't read my cuss word, I want to die. I got personal reasons I don't like swearing very much. I think I've slipped up before though. You know, once or twice. There's also kind of gray areas like it feels weird to say things like crap or piss. Or sometimes even damn. But I don't think that one's not bad. Frick, frick, frick. Mikon swears a lot, but she also says frickin'. I think about that a lot. I'm sorry, I'm so crude and filthy. I just, there's no non-depressing way to talk about it, you know? There's a lot of very negative ways that swearing can be used, you know? I think it's kind of a reflection of someone. And you know, there's nothing wrong with swearing, but I've seen a lot of more volatile swearing that makes everything bad. Okay, Timmy with the flip. I like when they get really nonsensical with swearing substitutions. But, you know, I get a lot of jokes like, oh, Timmy says slurs, whatever. I can't stand that in the first place. I think it's I don't think it's really right to do, and I've had to deal with people. I've had an older brother who would scream slurs at the top of his lungs across the house, and, you know, he was a terrible person for a multitude of reasons. But it really does not make a comfortable environment. We use Cockney rhyming slang. I don't even know about Cockney rhyming slang. You can swear, I don't care. I'll just read around it. Your brother is a piece of work? Well, I can feel reassured in many things that I cannot specify. Rhyming slang. The rhyming apples and pears is used to mean stairs, following the pattern of omission, and pears as drops. Thus the spoken phrase, I'm going up the apples, means I'm going up the stairs. Gregory. Neck. Source phrase, Gregory Peck. Example, stop breathing down my Gregory. Porkies. Flies. Original phrase, pork pies. Example, have you been telling me porkies? Treacle meaning sweetheart from treacle tart. I would feel offended if someone affectionately called me treacle. God. Why are the British like this? I mean, like, British writing has always been kind of bizarrely whimsical. But this is... This is like if elves were angry. Little Christmas elves were angry. Okay. TWI, is Sakanana's big natural still here? You will see that fish's boobs and you will like it. Or don't like it, honestly, I don't want to hear about that. Doesn't sound much different from stereotypical southern slang to me. I'm not very familiar with southern slang. I don't go down south very often. You know, all my southern family moved away from the south. I know enough to understand, but I could not mention. I know about bless your heart, because my mom had to explain that to me. So that I don't get, so that, you know, older ladies aren't mean to me. And I remember meeting a special ed kid, right? I get on the topic of like southern slang and like, oh yeah, bless your heart is actually a kind of gossipy phrase. Little mean to say. And they're like, what? No, my teacher uses that with me all the time. It's a nice word. And they kept insisting on that. And did not budge. So... know treacle is a no, but how would you feel about being called sugar? If you call me sugar, you're going to sound like a creepy old man. I think if you call any girl sugar in the modern day, you're going to sound like a creepy old man. Honey or pumpkin? You guys are getting very, very close. All of a sudden. But... But what if I am a creepy old man? Well, keep that to yourself, creep. Creepy old man. See me, if you popple our ages, would you be horrified? I know that all of you are older than me. I think it gets a little strange when it gets into my dad's age territory, but... I think I'd be a little horrified if any of you were like 80. Do you think there's 80-year-old VTuber fans? If there's hag lovers, there must be grandpa lovers too. Oh, you would... There is so many women lusting after old men. It's weird though. I don't understand it in the slightest. Maybe that's because I have a nice relationship with my father. Yeah, me. We are all old men. The average student mate was born in 1900. Like the year or the era? Like 1900 or the 1900s? It's easy to joke about hags as well, but honestly, I don't think I could go that old. Maybe it'll change when I get older, but in general, I see an older lady and it's like, that's like my mom, or even, that's like my grandma. My grandma's aged very well. I would say my grandma is a phrase I would not say. But I think I would probably cut it off somewhere in 20s, you know? I don't have any... I don't think there's any sort of, how do I say? There's not any future I have where I'm dating anyone, but... Don't you want to be a curmudgeoningly old hag scaring children and sweeping your porch? You want me to be like Baba Yaga? Or something? Like a creepy old witch? You wouldn't date a grandpa? No, because I see a grandpa and I think about my grandpa. I have a lot of grandpas. I have even more grandmas. I have at least, if we're only listing living ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's more. 5. Yeah, I think 5. At some point it gets a little distant. Please, I'm out. I'm sorry, old man. Go cry in the corner, loser. I don't think I have any grandpas left. I have a lot more grandmas than I have grandpas. They all outlive their husbands. Tragic. My hyper grandpa died pretty recently, but I never met him. There's... I have a very, very extensive family in general. I guess, like, when you're farmers, what else is there to do? Then get more workers. 5 grandmas implies 5 moms. Divorce. There's a lot of divorces in my family. everyone gets divorced. My immediate grandma that I visit every year has had 3 husbands and potential for more. Nah, she's very happily married right now. Chinami has experienced a divorce herself with Miss Confetti. I get divorced every day. Do you want to know what happens whenever a girlfriend breaks up with you? She marries me. And then I get divorced. Happens every time. I think I will delete the stream. I think I got a little too off rails. Anyway, it sounds like I streamed for way longer than I intended to. Hey, you can't divorce my girl, you treat her right, she divorces me. She divorces me. I think you mean me? Go to hell. Go to hell right now. I don't even know what you're referring to, but I'm sending you to hell just for fun. Go to hell! To be honest, this feels like a normal Tsunami stream, to be honest. Thanks for the two, to be honest, but... I feel like this might reflect negatively on me. You timed it out? Did you take your kids in the divorce too, Chimi? Why do you think none of my kids that I definitely have ever appeared on stream? Why else would it be if I didn't lose them in the divorce every time? Tragic. That's my heart. Like I'm dying from broken heart. Yeah. Goodbye. Thank you for coming. I got a wet mouth. Okay, that's the wrong thing to say. But I mean, like, there's a lot of mouth sounds that were gross. I could hear it. I'm sorry. Goodbye.